Thanks for having me on, David. CEO of Form 100 Consulting. We do really specialized staffing and execution for technology organizations. And so what that means is we hire former military officers and senior NCOs, so people that have leadership experience and training in the military. And then we embed those people into technology organizations to really drive alignment, communication, process, and do the leadership thing for technology organizations so they can actually execute.
Well, what are the capabilities that are hardest to find today with technology companies as we're trying to find the best fit?
Yeah, I mean, so technology is a super dynamic space. Software development, data. I think your last guest was very data focused,
Very.
and so all of that stuff just kind of lives in the Ethernet, lives in the matrix, and it can be hard to figure out what's going on. So what we really focus on is trying to get everybody aligned and on the same page. And so I think there's not a shortage of technology know-how, and AI is really changing the game for the ability to do things in a technical space, but making sure everyone's knows what's going on and can make the right decisions and get everyone marching to the same beat. That's really the biggest problem I see right now.
And does that challenge start with the top, or is the challenge because of the younger people with a different cultural background or attitude?
Well, so a lot of our clients are going to be are usually like larger enterprises and some medium size that are scaling. And so usually the leaders have a pretty good idea of what they want from a business market perspective. But then it's getting that to actually flow down through the layers of bureaucracy to the teams actually executing the work. And so I'll say a lot of times if you're manufacturing something or you're building something, you can always see a product. You can go walk the assembly line, see what's going on. But a lot of times the work that's being done in the software development space is on someone's computer or it's in some test environment somewhere. So it's hard to really get the visibility of what's actually happening. And so I think organizations are wasting a lot of money building the wrong types of things because they just don't have that communication flow, and it makes it hard in a pretty dynamic space.
Yeah, it creates great ROI for you and your consulting firm when each of those employees are so expensive and the productivity is even more valuable to a company. It's a great business model if you're able and capable of solving that problem.
Yeah, and I think by really focusing in on former military officers and senior NCOs that grew up in a very dynamic environment, and so they have experience in training, actually leading when there's a lot of unknowns, right? The fog and friction of war and the fog and friction of technology start to look a lot the same.
Yeah, Becky, are you good to ask a question? I'm trying. We need technology for Bucky. He's like in the middle of like Bali or somewhere probably. So
Yeah.
um, beyond the technology.
Oh,
go ahead.
You got me? For me, it's all
Yeah.
aviation and differentiation. And back on what you said about the trend. What is it that you've seen and you're doing that makes you different from all the other people that are doing a similar type of work? And how's that working with veterans and AI?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're asking how we're different, and then how's AI impacting that. So let me start with how we're different. There's no shortage of consulting firms or contract staffing firms out there, and a lot of times these large organizations they need excess capacity quickly, and so they'll just go to firms and get resumes, and then those firms act a lot like recruiting, and it's kind of just like putting butts in the seat. And so what we do that's different is really just we only source from a very select group, and so by sourcing from that select talent pool, we're able to really bring high quality real leaders who embed with the team and make lasting impacts. And then AI is just a chaos generator. I mean, that's really the way I think about AI. It's super capable. It can do a lot of stuff, but especially the larger your organization becomes, that can be a detriment. And if people aren't all on the same page, all this excess capacity can make things worse.
Yeah, and to finish up, I think engagement's probably the most difficult issue today. And those consultants like you that not only put the right people in the right places, put the strengths in align with the goals of the companies, mid-market and large companies, but keeping those people engaged. Have
Right.
you learned anything about picking the right people so that they are engaged, so that their productivity is exponentially valued compared to what's occurring in most mid-market and big companies where people are quietly quitting and going through the motions?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to leadership at all levels. So, Dave, you've run multiple companies, and good ideas are only good if you can execute on them, right?
Yeah,
And so, having your vision, but then building a culture where that vision actually gets spread out to the people doing the work. I mean, that's something a lot of CEOs and a lot of executive leaders talk a lot about. So what we try to really solve is that middle layer. We want to bring in former leaders, your captains, your majors, your people that have been doing missions and executing, and know how to build teams and programs, but also know how to communicate effectively up to leadership. And so what we do a lot of is drive alignment, so leaders like you can understand, like, we lower the water level so you see where the rocks are, right? I mean, a lot of
I love
times
that.
executive leaders, they don't make bad decisions, they make good decisions off of bad information. And so we want to make sure that that information's tight. And so by sourcing former military officers and senior NCOs, people that are comfortable in that type of domain, that's how we're really able to drive alignment. And then when things are aligned and people understand what they're doing and the value it's bringing, they are more engaged. There's less quiet quitting. There's
I love.
there's more purpose around what people are doing.
Yeah, it takes people that have been there before to ask them directions based out of one of my favorite places, Eagle, Idaho. Nate
Yeah.
Amidon, he is with Form 100 Consulting, specializing in staffing as a great execution partner, providing program management support to technology organizations. Look them up, highly recommend what they do and how they do it. Nate, promise me you'll come back.
No, absolutely. Thank you for having me on, David. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Right on. Thanks for your patience. We're always mobile, but
Yeah,
appreciate having you. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you.